Hello everyone, I'm your host 2B, and this is a game of Ker Nathalas. Our Mico Edora II has evaded another cave-bound leech in a previous fight. Uh, this is nothing more than a cave with leech-only encounters. We haven't done anything in particular other than only defeat cave-bound leeches or running from them. And I really hope we have seen the last of them right now because they can deal a serious amount of damage. Up until now, I'm feeling way more confident after defeating that bastard right here. So let's continue. Let's see. I think, by the way, I still managed to forget about one little thing because the enemy um, dealt some bludgeoning damage here, and the bludgeoning damage, I think it failed its attack, but if it hit me, I should remember it is dealing a bludgeoning attack as well somewhere that ignores one armor. But I think it dealt an acid damage attack and it completely dealt that damage to my armor, and that armor defended it. So that's something that I'm still on about in this game. How the special types of damages are described here. You have the bludgeoning, you have the piercing, and the slashing. They got something unique behind them. So you need to pay attention to specifically those three, as they are quite, how do you say this? They have something unique about them. So keep them in check, especially when an enemy does bludgeoning, but also when you do bludgeoning damage, for instance. So for these leeches, it's, for instance, really good to have a bludgeoning weapon like a maul or a hammer or a large club. It would work way better than the slashing weapon that I had because it could barely go through them. And having one extra point of attack is only more fortuitous for defeating creatures of this magnitude. Moving this up just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm standing over here. One of the rules that comes along as well, that if we move from here over here, we're backtracking. And that backtracking means that we must roll an attention die table. Because I fled from this monster from here to there, I don't see this as a connected rule. It's more like we ran back. I don't see this as I need to roll attention check. The game doesn't tell me, the game doesn't describe it, but you could roll the die yourself if you wish. I'm not going to do it because the game said you flee into the next room. That's it. There's not a you backtracked. You specifically chose to move back, so you must roll the tension check. That is not what happened. We fled, and there's no explanation about a tension die roll there. So I'm not going to do that for the flee. Just a little heads up for the previous video. There we are in this room. I would like to move back and go into this open area because now there's another door we have to go through, but you know what? Let's just get to this big door right here. 2 dice. The d20 is for the lock, the d10 is for the trap. There is no trap, or there is no lock, so one side is open, but there is a trap, so a T with a plus, and I'm going to roll a d8 for the difficulty, a 8, which is minus 30. Now the good thing about traps, if you read it in the book, right over here, it says in bold print, if the trap was placed on a door or container, you can simply move on, ignoring it. That is pretty interesting, but that only happens if, let's see, perform a perception check, so you must see if the trap is truly there. And this is where the kind of the problem comes in with the entire game, is if I didn't perceive the trap on the door, how this exactly works, but we'll roll our perception check, and if we fail, the trap triggers. So I have 59. Yeah, I have a perception of 50, so this one does trigger with a minus 30 on it. Yes, that is indeed what is happening. This is our perception minus 30, so we have 20 perception. So this completely failed. We didn't see this trap. That is for the perception. And now the trap triggers. And that is a d8, which is a 5, which is a normal difficulty trap. And what happens here is we roll a d10 on the trap effect table. I rolled a 10, so it's this one. A rush of water fills the room, threatening to drag the character and slam them against the wall, dealing 3d4 bludgeoning damage. Now we have an athletics here, so we rolled a 5, so this is still the normal difficulty, so our athletics is unchanged. So we can roll a d100. If I roll 20 or not, I still evaded this. 28, so I didn't evade this, sadly enough. So this enormous rush of water slams me away, and it deals 3d4 bludgeoning damage, which isn't all that much. However, do remember that this is bludgeoning damage. Now, I do not know from the game's perspective where this damage hits me, so if I should roll a d20 on this, I think I should. But on the other hand, it's nothing more than it says deal this type of damage. We'll roll, we'll see. 3, 3, and 3. So this is the damage. I'm going to roll a d20 on it so I know where it hits me. A 12, which is my chest, which is my armor. Yes, it is. So, because it's bludgeoning and this is 3 damage, one of them is ignoring it. This is pretty much this one. It's the bludgeoning thing again. Bludgeoning. Ignores 1 armor. So, it ignores 1 armor, so I have 2 armor. So this is a total of 3. I have 2 armor. And it deals 3 damage, so this one's gone. This one's gone. I don't have any on your armor anymore. I still have 1 damage to go, so I take 1 damage. Not a very heavy trap, luckily. A very taxing one, but still it is a damage nonetheless. That means that this door is now open. It's the time, 8 minutes. That isn't all that much. Heading into the next door. And that is another corridor with 1 opening, and they all have a door. It's pretty much how I assume this is actually very thematical. Is that this entire area is a huge bath, so to speak. The room was filled entirely with water up until a certain height, and that is pretty much it. The door behind us is this red die. It rolled a 1 and this one rolled a 4. So it pretty much is a completely encased or enclosed area. And this is a corridor. C d20, rolled a 4 on it, so let's see what that says. thick moss covers the damp stone walls, giving the corridor an eerie green glow. The sound of water dripping echoes throughout. How a unbelievably picture-perfect description for what is happening here. I sometimes that happens in games and is really unbelievably cool when it does, and yeah, this is part of it. Cool. So it is a gigantic room filling up with water. The door was pretty tight, covered with all kinds of moss, so water couldn't get through. I opened up the door and there was a huge splash of water coming out, and now we enter the room and it is a moss-covered, wet, damp place. And we enter it and there is no creature at all. So I write a large E without any numbers. I underscore it, and that's pretty much it. I do have a tension check to make in this area, so I roll a d8. Dang it, I rolled a 2. The attention die goes down by that. Over here, nothing else happens because corridors, you can't scavenge in them. There is no event happening in corridors, so corridors are pretty weak. We don't have to use light as well, because you don't use any lights in corridors according to rule. On the other hand, we are an umbral specter or an umbral phantom, so we have this light source, this dark vision we turned on, so we don't need light. There's nothing else to do here, so as I did here, I colored the dot in the center black. I will move through the door again. That is backtracking. So here I do roll a tension check at a d6. Nothing happened, luckily. I am thinking of moving. I'm going to check the door. Why not? At the bottom, this door is open. Is there a trap on it? D8. Nope. This door is open. Explicitly do that, otherwise I have another tension check here to make, and it would be safer to go through here because then I have no traps or doors or locks or whatever. But I don't want to necessarily roll another tension check because there's already more than enough tension as we are very close to death. Let's see. I could, by the way, use a bandage and recover 1d4 toughness, and I think it also allows us to get rid of our bleeding right now, but you can only do this once per room. We'll keep going. I'll go through the door. This is a room. One opening. And pretty much that one is closed as well. So I gather there's a little back room here. Maybe it's a control room for the floodgate. We're in some sort of a sewer, I gather. As we had cave, many leeches, lots of water. That's a good introduction. So maybe this area is flooded and there are a lot of bad creatures running around here. Here we are. Well, a lot of the same. It's a very autistic dungeon. We have a room roll, description roll. So this is 10. Room 10. Here we are with room number 10. Useless trinkets and baubles lie scattered about, remnants of the once great hilarity and ascendancy, now reduced to forgotten relics. It is a hopeless little place. So again, we have a tension check to make. Tension. This is the layer check. We do a encounter. And let's do the red one here. This one is our event if we don't have it. So there's quite a lot to roll here. Tension check didn't go off, so this is fine. The layer did hit. We don't have an encounter because we need 10 plus. And we rolled event 47. So I'll write this down as E underscore 47. So E V for event 47. I underscore it so I can remember what's going on here. Events are always interesting. 47. A terrible sigil is painted in blood across the room's floor. Your vision swims even by simply glancing at it, but you still feel curious about it. If you insist on deciphering the sigil, make a reason check. If you pass it, you earn 20 experience, but if you fail, you automatically lose D4 sanity without a resolve check. I have a reasoning of 10, so I'm not really interested in trying to decipher this, so this is pretty much it. So I underscored this is done. Something that I just remembered. Defeated with a blade, we have defeated 2 creatures. So perhaps a little pip there so we know that we defeated those. And this, we defeated 2 encounters. This room right here, there's nothing else we can do here. I'm not interested in resolving this because if you insist on deciphering it, which is a no, because my reasoning isn't all that great and I don't like looking at bloody sigils on the wall or the floor, whatever. It makes my head swim, and my head is already swimming with pain. A scavenge check, 30. 31. Scavenge 31. Underscored it right there. It really sucks that this is a room that's completely closed off, because this means that this door, this room is closed off, so we have to move back. That is a tension check, which didn't go off. I could go through this door, but no. Damn it. Thank you, game. Heading in this direction to the south, and this is, let's see, I'm at 18 minutes. You can keep on playing. This is a room, 2 openings, and 4 of them have a door. So, large chamber. This one doesn't have a door. I usually draw the one area with a door. It's not a perfect system. Because this side is already open and this side would then have a door, it's a bit odd. So I just draw this open. It's not a super precise system. That doesn't really highly matter. It's nothing more that the previous one precedes the newer room. So I don't draw a door right here. One of the things that I do is I draw a little dash right there to show that I can pass from one side to the other. So get into the room, a room description roll, which is a D100 to see what we get. 91. 91. Rotten piles of furniture and rusted utensils are all you can see in this room. Some sort of a kitchen, perhaps a place, or maybe a dining hall of sorts. And we have a d4 for our tension die. We have a d8 for our lair. We have a d20 for our encounter. And we have a d100 for our event. Let's roll that. Oops. This is a 4, so that didn't go off. The layer is a 1, so that did go off. We have 11, we need to roll 10 or higher, so we have an encounter. The encounter is what? A 3. I thought it was another 9. It's very close, it's a 3, 7, so... 3, 7, let's see. It's on the table A7 with a bone golem. Oh dear. Towering above all who dare to cross its path, the bone golem is a nightmarish fusion of skeletal fragments held together by dark magic and ancient runes etched into its calcified surface. Its empty eye sockets glow with an eerie malevolent light, and its articulated limbs move with an unnatural fluidity, instilling terror in the hearts of all who behold it. Exonerable and unyielding, the bone golem wields immense strength and resilience, shrugging off all but the most potent of attacks with an eerie indifference. It lumbers forth with a relentless purpose, leaving a trail of desolation in its wake, and its thunderous footsteps resonate through the souls of those who hear them, a haunting reminder of the raw power it wields. And it is even more powerful than we think, as we have a growing darkness of a combat skill of 10. This is a construct undead, so this is most definitely a much tougher encounter than we think, as its combat skill is 50. It has 6 health points. It is not so aware of us, and it is penetrating 1 in undead. Now, undead... Immune to charm, poison, and disease, restores by necrotic damage, and vulnerable to holy damage. One of the things which I still think very, very odd of this game is that this is an undead being, so it doesn't really need life force in some kind of way. So undead in this game can still take damage from bleed damage. Totally fine by me. It's not a skeleton, of course. It's some sort of a bone construct, so however this thing lives, it's a nightmare. I don't want to know. Another thing is that it's a humanoid, so it has a chest armor right here, and it has here a 2 armor on it. Penetrating 1, so if it hits my chest, it will most definitely ram through it. Kind of see this penetrating 1 as it's doing a bludgeoning attack. We also see it does bludgeoning, necrotic damage, and here it does slashing damage again. So that is an interesting one to fight through. Nevertheless, we can perform a stealth attack here if we really want to. If we go to that combat matrix or combat diagram, and here we have the initiative, we can try and surprise it. If we surprise it, yes, then we get into combat as the attacker. And we can also have a that the monster didn't surprise us, or that if we do surprise it, that we gain a plus 20 on our initiative check. Initiative to attack our first attack is plus 20. Sorry, it's a plus 20 to our first attack. And if we fail, then our perception is minus 10, and then we roll our perception. That's pretty much what's going on. So we can choose to stealth it. If we succeed, we gain plus 20 on our first attack. If we fail, we only lose 10 perception. I'm not interested in it because my character has a stealth of 20, and I'll just go on and start this fight. It has an awareness of 30, so it is also not very aware of me. I have a perception of 50, of 42 only by 8 points, so I do succeed this one, and it has awareness of 35 points of difference, so I do gain the initiative here. This is at least how I understand the initiative system. This one, we attack it. This is 61. We don't have any entangled, so 75 is our skill, so we do hit it. I hit it on 5 and 6, and this is interesting. This is something that I couldn't show with all the same creatures who have had so much armor, but right now we hit it on its left leg. It doesn't have armor there, so if you scroll back into the book to damage, to the damage table, and here we have slashing. It says that +1 damage when striking a body part with no armor. So this particular roll here is +1, which is our standard method of the way how we use our weapon with versatile. But because we hit a piece of armor which has no defense on it, we gain +2. So we roll the 6, +1 for our versatile, and plus another 1 for hitting a body part with no armor, means that we roll a total of 8. And 8 on the table is just 3 damage. So this goes down by 3. That is a good, solid hit. It gains defense roll, by the way. It's going to roll a critical defense. Come on, come on, come on, come on, Bone Golem. You can do it. Almost, almost. It did succeed this, so it gains a defense roll 5, and I gain a immediate 1d4 damage that ignores armor. So 3, I am dealt 8 damage. This Bone Golem is in a very cartoonish way, like boom, bing, like a Goopa hitting me on the head. Like a Mario hitting a Goopa on the top of the head. It's his attack again. Go ahead, Mr. Bone Golem. Clear dice, clear dice, clear dice, clear dice. 19 is a very nice score for your 50 combat skill, so you did succeed. He hit me on my 14, which is my left arm, which I do not have any armor there, so we don't have to roll for it. And my 4 is a necrotic grasp. This is a magical attack. The Bone Golem reaches out with its skeletal hand, attempting to drain the life force of a target. It deals 1d8 necrotic damage on a hit, regaining health equal to the half of damage dealt. Now, this is interesting about combat, is that it is a magical attack, so we have a magical resistance to roll, and we can roll as a defense a d100. I really hope I do succeed this. 58, 85, sorry. So I failed. Pretty much this guy is going to deal 1d8 of damage. It rolls a 1. It doesn't do all that much. That was a bit of a anticlimax. It rolled a 1, so it's 0. There is something really unique, by the way, about magical attacks. You really have to be very specific about this one, but some of the attacks tell you that, let's just say it's in a necrotic grasp. It is a magical attack, but you can also use your athletics to evade it. And the cool thing, if you take a good look at the structure of this game, is that if you have a magical attack and you succeed it, you almost always reduce all the damage dealt to you by half. So it's a nice reduction of all the damage. And if you want to evade the attack, you can use some of your skills to completely ignore the attack. And this is something where The combat system feels very open, very wide, very broad in you take a hit, but it is a form of magical, so you can reduce it by half, which is really great. On the other hand, it's dealing a particular type of damage, and well, it's perhaps a sweep across the floor, or as we notice here, it's attempting to grasp us as drain life from us. But we can, for instance, do this particular acrobatics check to evade it, or a dodge to evade it, that sort of stuff. And that can evade the attack as well. And on the other hand, we also have a die roll for a damage, and that is also something that can reduce our damage to completely nothing. There are many methods of how you can evade an attack, or reduce it, or resist it, or anything that's in the game told to you. This can make combat quite an expanse of rules, but once you pick up on these little things, then it's really a lot of fun to play around with. And I really, really wish I had seen that a little bit earlier, but I had the same creatures all the time, so I couldn't show you this. I could have scripted it, but that's not really fun. I am at around 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop right here, and I'll just say thank you very much. I'm your host, 2B, and this is a game of Ker Nathalas, and in the next video we'll continue the fight. I hope you're enjoying this as I most definitely am. See you in the next video.